She used my power without permission, so I installed a circuit that taught her a lesson. You ever met someone who thinks the world owes them electricity? Well, my neighbor Karen did. She bought a shiny new Tesla and decided my home was her personal charging station. Every night she'd sneak over and plug in without asking, draining my power bill like it was her birthright. But when I caught her red-handed and asked her to stop, she told me, "You should be proud to help save the planet." Oh, really? That's when I decided to teach her a shocking lesson she'd never forget. Before I get into it, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, because this story, it's about how one entitled neighbor learned that electricity isn't free, especially not mine. It all started one quiet summer evening. My name's Marcus Hill, and I live in a nice middle-class neighborhood in Houston. My electric bill was usually around $200 a month, nothing too crazy. But then one month, it jumped to nearly $600. I called the electric company thinking it was a mistake, but they said, "Sir, your usage has tripled in the past 3 weeks." That made no sense. I live alone, work all day, and I hadn't added any new appliances. So I decided to keep an eye on things. A few nights later, as I came home from a late shift, I noticed something odd. My side outlet, the one near my driveway, had a thick orange extension cord running from it across my yard and disappearing over the fence. I followed it, and guess where it led? Straight into my neighbor Karen's garage, right into her brand new white Tesla Model Y. I just stood there, speechless. This woman was literally stealing my power to charge her luxury car. The next morning, I decided to confront her. When I knocked, Karen opened the door wearing designer sunglasses and sipping iced coffee. I asked calmly, "Hey Karen, did you plug your car into my outlet last night?" Without hesitation, she smirked and said, "Oh, yeah. I hope you don't mind. The city chargers are always busy and it's just a little electricity. You probably didn't even notice I clenched my jaw." Actually, I did notice. My bill tripled. She shrugged and said, "Well, maybe your AC's broken. You should get that checked." Then she closed the door in my face. That's when I realized I wasn't dealing with a normal neighbor. I was dealing with a full-blown Karen. I decided I needed proof before escalating. I set up a small motion camera pointed at my side outlet. That night, sure enough, around 11:30 p.m., Karen crept over in her pink robe, dragging that same orange cord, and plugged in. She looked around like a spy, then tiptoed back to her yard. The next morning, I showed her the footage. "Karen," I said, holding up my phone, "this is theft." Instead of apologizing, she scoffed. "Oh, come on, Marcus. You're being dramatic. I'm not stealing, and it's just electricity. You should be proud to help me reduce my carbon footprint." I told her I'd be unplugging the outlet or calling the HOA. She rolled her eyes. "Go ahead. Everyone knows how uptight you are about your property." That same night, I unplugged the outlet and even taped over it. But when I woke up the next morning, the tape was gone. She had plugged in again. Now I was furious. I called the HOA president, a nice old man named Tom, and explained the situation. But when Tom called her, she spun the story. She told him I was harassing her and being aggressive. She even said I was trying to control who uses the neighborhood's shared resources. Shared resources? My personal power outlet? Tom decided to keep the peace and asked me to just talk it out. I knew then no one was going to help me, so I decided to handle it myself. I spent the next weekend doing research. I learned about something called a dummy breaker circuit, a harmless electrical modification that can trip and disable power if it detects an overload. I installed a custom version near the outlet she always used. But that wasn't all. I added a small surge feedback circuit, perfectly safe, but powerful enough to shut down any charging system connected to it if someone tampered without permission. It was all legal, by the way. Nothing that could hurt anyone. just enough to teach someone not to steal electricity again. That night, I waited. Around 11:30 p.m., like clockwork, I saw her through the blinds, dragging that orange cord across my yard again. She plugged it in, yawned, and went back inside. I whispered, "Showtime." Within seconds, the lights in her garage flickered. Then I heard it, a loud pop followed by Karen's shriek echoing down the street. The Tesla's charging screen went black. The next morning, she came storming to my door. "What did you do to my car? It's not charging anymore." I feigned innocence. "Maybe your charger broke. You shouldn't plug into random outlets, Karen," she growled. "You'll pay for this." "My husband's brother is a lawyer," I smiled. "Good. Then he can explain to you how theft of utilities works." 2 days later, I got a letter from the HOA requesting a mediation meeting. Karen had complained that I had sabotaged her vehicle. At the meeting, she came in with sunglasses and fake tears. "He deliberately damaged my Tesla charger. This is discrimination." The HOA president turned to me. "Marcus, what do you have to say?" Without a word, I played the security footage, night after night of her stealing my power, ignoring warnings, even removing my tape. The entire room went silent. Tom leaned back and sighed. "Karen, this is serious." "You can't just take someone's electricity," Karen stammered. "But I didn't think it was that big of a deal." Tom shook his head. "You'll need to reimburse Marcus for the stolen power and apologize immediately, or we'll forward this to the authorities." Karen looked like she was about to explode. "This neighborhood used to be friendly. Now everyone's turning against me." I calmly replied, "All I wanted was for you to stop stealing." She didn't respond. She just grabbed her purse and stormed out of the meeting. Later that day, I received an envelope under my door, a check for $480 and a short note. "Here's your money. Don't talk to me again. Karen." For a while, things went quiet. No more late-night power thefts, no more orange cords. I thought the saga was finally over, but karma wasn't done with her yet. A few weeks later, during a thunderstorm, I heard a loud boom outside. The next morning, I saw Karen's Tesla sitting in her driveway, completely dead. A bolt of lightning had hit the same faulty charger she'd been using to steal from me. The surge fried her entire electrical system. She had to tow the car away, and word spread around the neighborhood. Everyone now knew the story of the eco-Karen who stole electricity. The irony? A few months later, she put up a "for sale" sign and moved out. As for me, I got a brand new fence with a lockbox over every outlet, and a solar panel installed on my roof. My bills dropped, and peace finally returned. Sometimes I sit on my porch at night, sipping coffee, watching the lights flicker across the street, and I chuckle. Because, it's funny how karma works. You can take someone's power for a while, but eventually it's going to shock you back. Respect your neighbors, ask before you take, and remember, entitlement always has a cost. Sometimes that cost comes with a little spark,